It's Friday, and what a week it has been. I'm looking forward to a weekend of normality and adventure. Anyway, good Friday morning, everyone. We are getting into the exciting, meaty material of Enochian Vision Magic, and I hope you're following along. We're getting ready to talk about the Great Table, of which excuse me for talk amongst yourselves. The Great Table, of which this is just 1/4 of the Great Table. This will eventually be called the Water Elemental Tablet. And you can more or less tell that it's the Water Tablet because when you look at it from this side, it is predominantly blue. Let's get a little more light on it. It's predominantly blue. That's looking at it from the side, from the right side. But when you look at it from the left side, you can see that we've got primarily a red section and a blue section, and a green section and a yellow section. Those are the sub-angles. So although the whole tablet, this would be like the ace of cups in the tarot. The whole thing is like the ace of cups. And living inside the ace of cups is the red fiery king of cups, the blue watery queen of cups, the yellow airy prince of cups, and the green earthy princess of cups. Get it? That's how that's laid out. And inside each of those things it's ruled by a white cross. Those are called Calvary crosses. And each of the individual letters are little pyramids with a one-letter angel name. And they're right next door to another angel with a 2-letter name, which are right next to an angel with a 3-letter name, etc., etc., etc. It's very modular. But excuse me, I digress. We're on chapter 20. How's that? We're on chapter 20, the unlettered Great Table and the 4 great seals. And the epigram is from the angel Ave. And remember, Ave comes off of the Siculum Deum Eth. Let me find Ave for us if I can right off the bat. Where are you, Ave? There you are. Ave is the name right there on the heptagon. So Ave is talking here. The seals and authorities of these houses are confirmed in the beginning of the world. Unto every one of them be 4 characters, tokens of the presence of the Son of God, by whom all things were made in creation. That was on June 20th, 1584. In a working that took place on Wednesday, June 25th, 1584, the angel Ave showed the magicians the image of a table that was divided into 4 sections by a central cross. Each of the 4 sections was identified as one of the castles in the golden talisman. Remember that? So each of those squares was one of those castles. Also called watchtowers, watchmen, princes, and mighty angels of the Lord. They were each represented by a seal. And each of these seals, by their imagery, bear a direct and unambiguous connection to the sigillum Dei Meth, or the ensigns of creation. The first seal was assigned to the upper left section of the table. It was an image of the capital letter T, with 4 rays beaming vertically from the top bar. Now, I posted a picture of it, but here are those 4 images. And we're talking about the image in square 1 at the moment, which is that T with those 4 rays. Now, if I can find my place again. It is the image of a capital letter T with 4 rays beaming vertically from the top bar. This seal comes from a major landmark of the sigillum Dei Meth. And I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. I'm pointing to it right there. See that T4? Okay. The 4T cell is the first of the 40 cells that form the perimeter. The 4T cell is where we began counting to create the 7 names of God, drawn from the sigillum. So it's an important little thing there, that T4. The second seal was assigned to the upper right section of the table. Okay, that's that cross, right? It's pretty like a simple cross. And identified as an alphabet cross. We first saw this cross on the lower right corner of the first 7-fold table. Let's see here. Here's the first 7-fold table. There's the first 7-fold table. And there is the cross. Which generated the letters of the large outer heptagon of the sigillum, where the cross appears at the top left. And let's see, I will point to this one too. There's the cross. It's very near the 4T also, see? The third seal was assigned to the lower right section of the great table. Its origin was a little harder to track down. Ave said, "It is in that table which consisteth of 4 by 8. Now, one of the 7 ensigns of creation that ring the sigillum on the holy table, the one that most modern magicians associate with Mercury, is a 4 by 8 table. And there it is. The square occupying the position of the second column, second row from the bottom, contains a cross. Where am I? There we go. There it is. B6 4B. I got it circled there. I believe I've discovered a typo in this book, everyone. If you're on page 128, the end of the second paragraph. It says the square occupying the position of the second column, second row, should be corrected to second column, first row of the bottom. I'm going to mark, excuse me, while I make my errata sheet notes right here. See, you're warts and all. So that appears on the third seal. So there, that one is. So that's that one right there. And it comes from, hang on, I've got to keep my place. Comes from this one right there. The fourth seal was assigned to the lower left section of the table and was the image of a little round smoke. That's what they called it. As big as a pin's head. Now, a pin's head, not a pin's point. It is illustrated in one of the drawings of the great table in Sloan 3191 as a tiny circle with 12 rays issuing from it. It is perhaps a stylized representation of the figure that appears on the back of the Sigillum Deumeth, a small circle from which projects 4 capital T's of a cross, potent, formed from 12 right angles. Perhaps it is connected to the round table of Nalvage and the 12 words that occupy its 4 continents. Frankly, I've been unable to find any reference in the original material that would suggest either of these circumstances or connections. Figure 65 shows the position the great seals on the great table and the order in which they were revealed to Dee and Kelley on June 25th, 1584. On April 18th, 1587, 3 years later, nearly 3 years after the magicians had, for all intent and purposes, discontinued their angelic workings, Kelley would receive a vision that would alter or reform several aspects of the great table, including the relative positions of the seals and all they represent. One might expect from this reformation, as one might expect, this reformation remains a source of intense frustration to Enochian students and practitioners. To add to all of the confusion, Dee at different times assigned different directional attributes to the quarters of the table. Later, the Golden Dawn, in order to develop a workable system from this material, would attribute quarters to the great table to the elements air, water, earth, and fire. Eventually, I will do the same. But for the moment, let's be satisfied with identifying the 4 quarters of the great table just by their seals and original numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, as shown in figure 65. As we move on to the wonders of what took place next. I'm going to start chapter 21 today, but it is such a cool, miraculous, magical wonder story that we're going to talk a lot more about it this weekend. It's chapter 21, The Great Table. This is from Dee's diary of June 26, 1584. There was a terrible storm of thunder and rain toward the end of our yesterday's action. which I said was somewhat more than natural. I feel I must here briefly outline, if only for my own benefit, the sequential landmarks of the Enochian magic period up to this point. The reception of the Round Table of Nalvich, number 1. 2. The beginning of the reception of the 48 calls in the angelic language. 3. The reception of the order of the earthly name of each of the 91 parts of the earth, together with its divinely given name, the tribe of Israel to which it is assigned, the directions assigned to the tribe, the names of its ruling angelic king, and the number of good angels. All of the above information is itemized in columns 1 through 4 of figure 63 in chapter 18. Okay, and that's what those columns look like. Then came the vision of the golden talisman with its 4 sets of castles. And which included 1 trumpeter, 3 ensign bearers, 6 seniors or ancient men, the king and his 5 princes, the comely man, with very much apparel. The comely man with very much apparel, and the 5 men carrying up his train. That's how they originally were described. 5 crosses in the air, 1 great cross and 4 lesser crosses, and 16 dispositors, who sometimes were identified as 16 white creatures. Then finally came the vision of the unlettered great table and the 4 great seals. So that's just a summary of what we've done in the Enochian period up to this point. What happened next was so remarkable that I hope I can recount what happened clearly enough for you to appreciate how remarkable it was. During the workshop of Monday, June 25th, 1584, Kelley was given a vision of 4 blank grids. Each of which was 12 squares wide by 13 squares high. These grids were said to represent the 4 quarters of the great table of the vision of just a few days earlier. As the vision proceeded, little pricks or dots began to appear in the squares. Kelley was then instructed to connect the dots in groups of 7, which created sigils, each forming a curious pattern. Okay. And that is an example. Let's see if I can get a better, clearer. That's sort of a... Okay, now I've put 7 of those pricks down, as we say. And this just happens to be, or will turn out to be, what we talked about yesterday as the angel Pascha. But there are no letters yet. There's just a blank 12 by 13 square. with pricks starting to appear visually, long enough for them to ink them in. That's only the beginning. Believe me, it's only the beginning. And we will pick up here tomorrow, and I will try to take us through the weekend, and hopefully I will confuse you less than I will try to inform you, because once it clicks what actually happened in this next series of operations, your mind will be blown. Okay, it is still an amazing story, and we'll talk all about it this weekend. Until then, enjoy your weekend. Start it right now. Continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other, and stay safe. Do what thou wilt should be the whole of the law. Love's the law, love under will.